Chia. Chia colorful, emotional, cozy, but so small and so not for everyone, and yet perhaps worthy of attention. Like many games created with love for friends and family, for the native land, for ancient legends and traditions, Chia talks about the same thing, and so this fairy tale begins. Once upon a time, when the sky was still so clear and blue, the grass was so green and the landscapes were so amazing that you couldn't take your eyes off, there lived a girl named Chia. She lived in harmony with nature on one of the islands east of Australia, those called New Caledonia. Local residents remember their traditions but are actively developing their cities. Some, like our heroine, use the language of their ancestors, Dahu, but many prefer to communicate and sign in French. Chia is lucky to live with a loving father. When the young heroine became another year older, he gave her a slingshot, and Chia was hurt, will not leave the sadness, went to wander around the island, enjoying the music and plus the last hours of serenity. After all, soon the girl's life will change forever. The plot of the game is simple, like the story of Kolobok, Turnip or Chicken Rabba. Chia is essentially just a fairy tale about a fairy tale, and there are no deep characters or sudden turns. Also, a couple of scenes can still shock a gamer accustomed to sweetness and kindness. From a story point of view, the game is a simple walk from the beginning of the story to the end point. But during this walk, Chia tells us about what is happening around us, making the journey a little more fun and magical. But what is much more important is that the player himself, invariably moving forward, will look around with great pleasure and observe the beauty of this world, which is not the most outstanding by modern standards, but such a pretty one. The main feature of Chia lies in the heroine's ability to transmigrate her soul, that is, in the sense to inhabit animals and environmental objects, not all, but very many. And this is what makes a simple fairy tale fun and sometimes even exciting. At first, as you explore the world, you realize how many different living creatures and interactive objects there are, typically treanters, benefiting by the advantage of things available for interaction. Over time, you realize their potential, but the most important thing in Chia is the animal's life itself. And since we are talking about water, only the sea and its depths can compete with the height of the sky in Chia. But let's take a moment to distract ourselves from what's hiding under the surface and turn our gaze to horizon line. How amazing the local distance is, especially in the evening when the setting sun, saying goodbye to the earth, gives peace and lights with its beauty. But let's turn to our depths. The heroine will have to reach the bottom of the sea more than once, or, for example, finding herself underwater for a long time. In order not to risk our health and have a good swim, we can find the fish and swim around the kingdom of Perisodid to overhear its content until the time of arrival expires. Some of the local fauna are small and dexterous, others have huge and strong, but heroine should not be afraid anyone. All of the animals here are friendly and helpful, but some of course are more useful. Personal favorites besides birds are deer and crabs. The latter will be very useful during mission. The same applies to objects. There are things that are strictly necessary to enter in order to pass, and there is also just something like stones. It's influenced once you and don't have to use it again. Ultimately, Chia, by appearing to be child inside the player, is interacting in its own way, but doesn't allow you to have fun from the hurt. It also puts pressure on emotions. You understand that it will be sad now, and you are prepared for it, but your eyes will still feel this tears. While experiencing joy from what is happening on the screen, you are constantly faced with something that spoils the experience, and after the next wave of high from what he saw and heard, there comes a wave of misunderstanding and displeasure. Playing Chia is like accidentally stumbling upon a small and optional cartoon between watching two accepted major primaries. It's captivating enough that you won't turn it off, but at the end, you're unlikely to want to watch it again.